that Lucifer is not the devil. I know, Christians, don't run away. Stay on here for just a second, because based on your Bible, it's an impossibility for Lucifer to be the devil. What we have to first understand is the translation that you have in your Bible. In Isaiah, which is the first time that the term for Lucifer is ever identified, comes from the Hebrew word Halali, right? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but Halali. And the word Halali simply means the bringer of the dawn. It's a stand-in for the planet Venus and its position before the dawn of the day. So it's in relation to the planet Venus. Now, because it has that relation to the planet Venus, and in the Greek and Roman, you have the word phosphorus, which means the light bringer. It later got translated into the Latin as Lucifer. It is dogma that made you believe that Lucifer and Halali are the same being. But I'm going to show you in your Bible where it's not. Now, first understand that the reason why Lucifer became personified as the light bringer is because in Roman folklore, Lucifer was the son of Aurora and what was the other name? Is Aurora and Catius, something like that, Catilius. And he was known as the light bringer. So this got merged together to create a being named Lucifer. Now, in your Bible, it does not speak of a being named Lucifer, but it's actually speaking of the Babylonian king who was holding the tribes of Israel, the northern tribes of Israel, in captivity. Because when you go to Isaiah 14, what you will see that in verse 4, it first tells you. Well, let's start with 3. It says, on the day the Lord gives you relief from your suffering and turmoil, and from the harsh labor forced on you, you will take up this taunt against the king of Babylon. Now it goes on and it talks about how all the land is at rest and at peace, and they will break into singing. Even the junipers and the cedars of Lebanon will blow over you and say, now that you have been laid low, no one comes to cut you down. So they're taunting the king of Babylon at this time frame during the Babylonian captivity. And it is from verse 12 down to verse 15 that you get your Lucifer, where verse 12 says, how have you fallen from heaven, morning star, Halali. That's where the word Halali is, speaking of how you have fallen from heaven like the morning star, a reference to how Venus appears to be falling from the heavens as the light bringer when the sun rises. It continues to say that it calls him son of the dawn. That's actually Halali. Sorry, it's not the morning star part. It's the son of the dawn. And because the son of the dawn in the Roman, in the Latin, was Lucifer, this is how they merged the two together and gave you your doctrine, because people were wondering who are all these people. And this is also because they had the belief, and many people were reading the book of Enoch, which talked about a war in heaven. So they naturally had to find a way to negotiate this all to fit together. But it continues to say, so that you can understand that this is talking about a Babylonian king. You have been cast down to earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zephon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds, and I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit. Now, in that one, there's the word there about being to the realm of the dead is Sheol. Now, in that time frame, the Israelites believe that everybody goes to Sheol. Everybody, good, bad, doesn't matter. Everybody goes to Sheol. They may have a different experience in Sheol, but everybody goes to Sheol when they die. And in this instance, he's telling the Babylonian king that because you have made yourself to be greater than the God of the Israelites, because you have tormented and treated the Israelite children so poorly and brought them into your captivity, and you sit upon your throne thinking you are greater than the Israelite God, you will fall from grace of your positions of Lord over all these nations, and you will find yourself in the same pits of Sheol that everybody else will. So it has absolutely nothing to do with an angel who fought against your God because he wanted to be God. This is what they, in the 4th and 5th centuries and on, that they merged together to create your God, because in creating the universal church, they took themes from previous religions that people believed in. And since this was the Roman Empire, the idea of Lucifer being the son of the dawn to them, the light bringer to the Romans, something they can identify with, they took that same personages and merged it with this Babylonian king. The people of that day would have understood that because the stories were known. But then, as Christianity became more and more forcing a univocality of thought, they created this idea that Lucifer is merging with the serpent, is merging with uh, the Satan, the Hasatan, and merged it with the beast at the end in Revelation, so that there could be one entity that this God that Jesus would fight against, instead of understanding that it was merely talking about a king. And the problem is this: there was no reason for it, none whatsoever. This could have been a great teaching of people placed in leadership who would not hold themselves to be above the people at an extent where they are damaging the people, enslaving the people, taking advantage of the people, but telling those who are in leadership that they should be humble and realize that no matter who they are, they die like everybody else. No matter who they are, they have to face the same consequences as everybody else. That should have been the lesson that Christians teach from this. But instead, you have concocted an idea of Lucifer being some made up deity. So, really, when you say Lucifer, you're talking about a Roman god, or you're talking about the planet Venus. So y'all have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.